Hey everybody, it's Mark again. I'm at my friend's house, and I told myself I wasn't going to do any videos while I was here, but I didn't bring my phone stand. However, we had to work on a music box. The Governor van needed a bushing, and so I came up with this little contraption to put the bushing in. Using a KWM reamer number 1, I drilled the first hole. Using a KWM reamer number 2, I went just a little bit in the hole afterwards. That way I could put the bushing in and then hammer it in. And because you're working with something so small, you have to come up with something that will work. And I still think that the Switzerland folks that made these things should have made them a little bit differently. That way you don't have to bend the brass to get the arbors out. They should have made them a little bit differently. But let me go ahead and get the bushing and set it up there, and I'll show you what I'm doing next. Like I said, I used the KWM number 2 just to allow the bushing to get started. And because I don't have a phone stand, I'm going to have to hammer this off camera. Because my buddy is busy and he don't need to hold the camera for me. Let's try this again. So now we have a bushing installed. And so now I'm going to take a file and file the inside down because the bushing was too thick. The chamfering tool will not fit inside, and that's why I had to use a file, but I will use the chamfering tool on the outside. And for some reason, even though I did everything exactly the same, this one came through as I was using the chamfering tool. No big deal. Red Loctite dry locker, and let it dry, and that bushing will not come out. These here on the Governor fan that we were working on, I didn't know whether or not a bushing would actually fit in there after you cut the hole, so I told him I'm going to use this to practice on. And this is after using the KWM reamer number 1. It's a barely fraction of an inch of material left. And just what I was afraid of, the very end came open. So I'm using thread Loctite, and I'm going to let it dry, and hopefully it will be okay. But they should have made these sections here with more material to put bushings in. The same way with this one over here, there'll be enough material on that one, I think. But this one has got the biggest material available, but the others don't. So the bushing diameter is 1.78 millimeters. The KWM reamer number 1 is 1.75 millimeters. And so 1.75 pretty well goes through the edge of that, where that bushing is. Anyway, I hope this helps. Leave me some comments. May God bless each and every one of you. So I didn't grind the extra bushing off. I left it in there because when you bend this back into place, it always snaps back. So leaving the extra material, wheel spins, but it won't come out because I left the extra material there. I'm going to show you that this doesn't spin. Here you're looking at around, and that's because this pivot on that system with a plastic wheel, it's got worn out pivot hole. Hopefully you can see that. And so it spins sometimes, and then sometimes it doesn't. And that's because it gets into that position with that worn out pivot hole, and it don't want to spin. Now it's making a liar out of me. He's well worth it. Right there, it's locked up again. And so, hopefully you could see this. I really need my phone stand for this crap. Hopefully you can see that this hole right here is oblong and it's going back and forth. So what you have to do, you gotta take this all apart. You gotta take the governor fan off. And the way they designed this stuff, this is the only way to take this stuff off is bend the brass pieces out of the way. And when you do that, you could very well break these pivots off. It's a poor design on putting this stuff together. With his carbons. And so that's the difference between me and Steve. So I don't hire him every time I need a clock repaired. But on a special clock like this one, or the GK cuckoo clock, or the clock. And once you take all the parts off, you start with a KWM #1 reamer. Again, the bushings are 1.78 millimeters in diameter. And the KWM final section here, this is tapered. And then this final section is straight. That way the hole is not tapered. But you start with the KWM #1 and you ream out this hole. And he's like, Mark, where'd you find this deer antler? I'm like, it's wooden. It goes to one of my clocks. He's like, there's no way. Keeping the tool nice and perpendicular and square with the material. Real antler. And so, if you need Steve's services, contact him. And once you go through, give me a thumbs up and make you do not want to rotate the tool back. You don't want to rotate the tool when you're taking it out because it will take shavings off. So you just try to pull it out. You might have to rotate it a little bit, but try to pull it out. That way you're not taking shavings off. And then, again, what I did was take your KWM number 2 and start it in this section. I'm not going to finish it. I'm just going to start it so it has a little taper to hold the bushing in place while I put it where it needs to be. And of course you want to test your bushing to make sure it fits onto the pivot. Oil sync up is started in the hole, and I'm going to have to do the rest of this off camera. Now you don't have to pound it all the way down. You hit it a little bit, check the inside. You want it flush with the inside. I didn't notice, but this wheel's cracked. But anyway, that's what you have to do. And like I said, this whole system could have been made better, because trying to put the governor pan in, it has to go in to that hole that's on the very end. Not this hole right here, but that hole right there. But anyway, I hope y'all like this video. So I left my buddy's house working on clocks, and I'm here to surprise my sister. She works here in Columbia. I get tired of working on clocks. I worked on several clocks for him that he was having trouble with. So, get to surprise my sister now.